Hey everybody! With Wadapalooza behind us this past weekend, it looks like the off season is almost officially over. We're about 30 days out from the start of the 2023 season and the CrossFit Open. So it's good to take a look back at the off season events and some trends that we saw through these events. From an athlete perspective, there could be lots of reasons why they're going to do an off season event. It's a great way to earn some extra money through the season, get some more reps under your belt. There's always training in your gym can only get you so far. Just being on the competition floor and seeing what's thrown at you and how you react to it is a learning experience that lots of people need to do. In some cases, like Wadapalooza, it's fun to get out there and hang out with everybody. But in terms of that second point there, getting in the reps, I think there's an interesting trend that gives European semifinal athletes a pretty big competitive advantage over the rest of the field. So in the 15 off-season events that we have loaded up here, the European athletes definitely have a foot up in the rest of the field again into getting in those reps. So within the competitions that we've loaded, about 54% of semifinal athletes out of Europe have competed a off-season event or off-season competition. Compare that to 43% in Oceania and 36% for North American athletes. So it is interesting to see that they definitely do have a lot more competitions under their belt, and again, earning a bit more experience and able to translate that. There are probably a few reasons associated to this. Some of it is just due to proximity and cost of travel. So it's a lot easier to jump around between European countries than it is, within North America. Some of it is just going to be access to events. From the Oceania group, they're pretty limited. They had the Down Under CrossFit Championship, which did give a good majority of the field the opportunity to compete there. And I guess in that case specifically, a lot more of the up-and-comers were able to compete at that event. So when you look at Torium Pro, only one of the top 7 women competed at Down Under in an individual capacity. That's Maddie Sturt. And on the men's side, only 2 of the top 6 men, Jay Crouch and Jake Douglas, competed on the men's side. So gives a lot of those up-and-comers a lot more capability to get on the floor, challenge themselves, see how they react to different things in a competition. How, if an event doesn't go their way, how do they bounce back? If they get a no rep, how they work through that on the competition floor. So it is definitely see a trend to European athletes having that competitive advantage. And then not just on pure numbers, but also in the number of events that they participate in. So with those European athletes, you're looking at almost 2 events per athlete. In terms of those people who competed, are averaging nearly 2 competitions each. In North America, it is 1.35. So some athletes are doing 2 or more, but the vast majority of them are only competing in a single off-season competition. And then in the Oceania, with the exception of Ricky Garrard, who did 2, everybody else had only competed in a single competition. So getting that time under the floor, especially now that we're back to the semifinal structure, it is important to get those reps, because if you don't make it past the games, that semifinal is your only access point to a live competition. So definitely see, again, a competitive advantage here for those European athletes. It'll be interesting to see if that trend does continue now that the CrossFit HQ has taken over semifinal events in both North America and Europe. Because you have the Granite Games, West Coast Classic, Mid-Atlantic CrossFit Challenge, those groups, Atlas Games. For the most part, all of those were events that had a community feel to it. So be interesting to see if they are able to slot in, since they are pretty geographically diverse within North America, to give more athletes an opportunity to get on the floor again, to change that trajectory of Europeans having the advantage. It also does open up a couple new opportunities for additional events in Europe, to give them options as well. Again, it would be great to see athletes have more opportunities to earn some cash within the off season without being out of pocket huge expenses. but then also give athletes more opportunity to train up and hone in those skills so they are able to, again, better translate things when the next semifinal season comes around. So again, just an interesting perspective on us. All this data is available over fantasyfitnessing.com. If you want to take a look and dive into a bit more, we also have Instagram post with a bit more of the specifics as well if you want to take a look there. So with that, quick little tidbit here from an analytics perspective, but hope you enjoyed it. With that, take care, and we will see you closer to the Open.